Hey there, welcome to Cooking with Violet Vixen. Today I'm cooking a bit of a strange recipe, but I'm going for some strange things at the moment because from watching MasterChef there's a lot of strange things going on. This one's called pasta banana bake, and here's what we need. Grab it all and I'll see you soon. Okay, so once you've got everything ready, you're going to need a fancy dish to put everything in and get your water ready to boil. Put the lid on so it'll boil quicker. We want salt in that and we'll get ready to go. Okay, grab a jug that we can put eggs into. I always like these ones. These are microwave resistant ones, but I still use them if I don't feel like using a bowl. I'm just going to put this one over here so it doesn't get broken. Grab a whisk. I have a very small kitchen. I think most of you can figure that out by now. We want our whisk. And I always like to break my eggs into a cup. So we want 5 eggs into this jug. I always break them into a cup, so obviously if there is any shell, I'm not putting the shell in there. Or if I get a bad egg, I'm not putting a bad egg in there. Fortunately, I don't see many bad eggs, but you never know. And I don't like the idea of having to throw 5 eggs out because you put one bad one in at the end. 3. Ooh, nearly dropped it early. After breaking so many eggs at work yesterday, I should almost be able to do this in my sleep. Okay, so with the recipe, as I say, this is a very unusual one, but I have been watching MasterChef, obviously, and this probably would be an interesting recipe to go on MasterChef. So it was 150 grams or 1 cup of pasta shapes. Now, if you saw my recipe a few weeks ago where I had to cook pasta with a fancy shape, I ended up using bow ties. So I'm using bow ties. Obviously 1 cup of bow ties is not going to give me much pasta. So I weighed it out to 150 grams. Okay, so once you've got your 5 eggs in there, let's bring this closer. Okay, you probably know what 5 eggs look like in a jug. There's 5 eggs in there. Give it a good whisk. And out of that 1 cup of pasta sugar, I've weighed out 75 grams. I don't have a 5/8 of a cup, but I'm going to put that in there. Okay, I can hear my pasta water starting to boil, which is good. Give this a really, really good whisk until it is light and creamy. Grab another jug, and then you're going to put into that jug 1 1/4 cups of milk and 1 1/4 cups of cream, and we're going to warm that. My suggestion is probably just put that in the microwave at a very low heat. I'm going to go grab that now. Just going to set that aside for a little while I get another jug. Put my 1 1/4 cups of milk in and my 1 1/4 cups of cream. So a lot of people may make custard different ways. This is actually one way of making a more traditional custard. And as I say, it's a very unusual recipe, but for a sweet tooth and something different, I'm going for it. Give that a stir. check on this water. No, it's not boiling yet. It was my imagination. Okay, I'm going to put this in the microwave on medium for about a minute. I want it warm but not super hot. Okay, well that's in there for a minute. Get your muscles going again with your whisk. So once the milk and cream are warmed, we're going to pour it into this egg mixture, which is nowhere near thick, light and creamy either, by the way. And then we are going to thicken it in a double boiler or over a stove top. So I'm going to show you that step in a moment. Alright, our water's bubbling. In goes our little bow ties. Pop your timer on for 5 minutes. Okay. Put your lid back on at an angle so that it won't boil over. Alright. I'm happy enough with that. It's at least light. So gradually fold in the milk and cream. Okay, now there is such thing as a double boiler. I don't have one of those. I'm just as happy to use it over this, but I don't know if it's going to be too much. So when I say this is a small saucepan with a bowl. This is what I normally use if I melt chocolate over the stove top. So I'm just going to put this in here and hope for the best. We want that at a very low heat. Just remove the lid off the pasta because it was boiling over. I'm going to do the custard in 2 batches because I'm not confident with it being too full. So I'll get this part thick and then I'll do the other part. You can probably put a bit more than that in there. So basically we want this to be thick enough to coat the back of a wooden spoon. I just tried one of the pasta bows. They're not done, so I'm giving it longer than 5 minutes. Okay, after 10 minutes you can turn your pasta off and remove that from the hot plate. Take that over to the sink and drain it in a colander. Still going with the custard. It's not coating the back of the spoon yet. It's gradually getting there though. One thing that does make this annoying is once I finally get through this part, I have to do it again. Never mind. It's going to be worth it. You don't want to have your water too thick, otherwise it's going to boil really quickly. So you just got to slow and steady. Okay, so because I didn't want to be here all day, and you probably appreciate that, I put some in the microwave. I gave it short bursts, 1.5 minutes on medium. That actually has thickened in there. This is at the close enough stage. So I'm going to remove this from the heat now and put this in with this, and then we're going to continue on with the recipe. So into this jug with the other one. Just be careful when you lift this off because it's probably going to be very hot. Just stir that in. It's made a very unusual colour of my saucepan. I'm going to have to boil that with some bicarb. And all the times that I have been using this saucepan this way that I have just done this, I have never had a funny grey mark go around it. I'm just going to put it back onto the boil with some bicarb in it, which should hopefully bleach it out. Okay, so while that's going on, we now have got a jug of thick enough custard. Put your pasta in with it. Pasta, of course, it's all stuck together. Okay, so mix all that in together, and then grab those 4 bananas and slice them up. Okay, so you've probably peeled and sliced bananas before, so there's no big deal. So when cooking with bananas, try and use your riper ones if you can, because you're going to get more flavour out of them because they're a lot softer. Anyway, they're technically being cooked because they're going in with hot custard. So I'm going to peel them all first. Oh, and in case anyone is ever wondering, what is that ice cream container at the back? That is for my compost bin. So all that is going in the compost bin. Right, I got a little bit of a yucky on that banana, so I'm going to take that part off. Anyway, I find it quicker and easier if I peel all the bananas, get the stringy bits off them as well. They're not very nice. And then I can slice them all up together. This one's a bit soft, so I am going to chuck that part out as well. Yep, it's doing it for me. Okay, well, technically I'm down by a banana, but no big deal though. Okay, let's slice them up. Just take that part off as well. Okay, I don't think it really matters that we're down to 3.5 bananas. Okay, if you face them all the right direction, you can actually just do them all together. Try and keep them all on your board. Once they're all sliced, probably should have used my bigger chopping board. The things you do when you're not thinking. Okay, once they're all sliced, just had to remove that from there. Just layer them on the bottom. Judging from the picture, they're going to float in the custard anyway, so don't get too fancy. Look at those. As you can see, they look better. I brought some new bananas the other day, but I always freeze the ones that go off. So, well, when I say off, when they're normally this ripe, I would put them in the freezer, but I don't think frozen bananas are going to be as good in this recipe. So this is a great dish for using up said bananas. Perfect. Look at that layer of bananas. Now you get this custard and you just tip this all over the top. Perfect. Try and spread your pasta shapes out a little bit. Looks like I've got too much, but I'm going to be brave because it will set. It'll be fine. Alright, so there you have it. We're going to leave that to cool for a little while, and then all we need to do to finish it off is sprinkle the rest of the sugar on top and then put that under the grill. Be back soon. Bicarb fixed it. Okay, for this final step, turn your grill on. I very rarely use mine, so I'm going to put it on now, which mine's just under the oven on the top shelf. So grab a substantial size baking tray in case everything spills over. Put your uncaramelized dessert on top and then just I'm going to grab a spoon and sprinkle this over so it looks a bit neater. Don't want to waste all my efforts by making it look crap at this time. So just sprinkle that over. If you can put it all over, then it will hopefully stop it from bubbling over, because as you can see we're pretty full here. But I wanted to use a pan that I haven't used for ages. Just keep sprinkling. That is extra sugary. Sweet tooth is going to love this one. Alright, so pop this in the oven. You're not really going to be able to see this, but I'm going to pop this in the oven. As I said, my grill is in the oven. It's just starting to get hot now. In a couple of minutes I'm going to pull that out of the oven, and we want it to be all caramelized. Once you've caramelized it, pull it out of the oven, let it cool for a while, and then put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours before you serve it. This will ensure that everything is set, and I would suggest serving it with a bit of whipped cream or ice cream. You don't want any more custard with it because it's already got custard in it. So give this a couple more minutes. As I say, I don't use my grill very often, so it might take a bit longer for mine to do. There we have it, people. A pasta banana bake. It's finally caramelized up for the most proportion of it. And if I turn this tray around, I'm going to show you why it is important to have a tray underneath. We had overflow. Lovely. Alright, leave that out for a few hours to cool. Don't put that straight in the fridge, it will crack. And leave it in the fridge for about 2 hours, and then enjoy with some lovely whipped cream. I'm going to catch you next time. Bye.